Welcome back to a Grail Live auction with special guest AJ Vaynerchuk. Also have Scott attending today. If you're new here, you just sync up your MetaMask and then you have to deposit 0.25. If you have any questions, just let the Grail team know over on Twitter or in the comments and they will get you taken care of. We also have a special giveaway at the end for anyone that places a bid tonight, so make sure you stick around to the end. Bring it on, Scott and AJ. How are we doing?
All is well.
What's going on? How are you, Luke?
I'm doing well. I mean, I feel like the tides are starting to turn in the market with Digi and some other stuff, and we've seen a couple of bad months, but a lot of positivity on the Twitter streets of what I'm seeing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Digi just exploded on that fundraise news today, right? The parent company raised $200 million, and I feel like the floor exploded. So very impressive. Good to see your point, Luke, in the bear market.
Yeah, it was 6:30 news event. Floor goes from 6 to 14, and the guy's in stealth mode. But that's, I guess, not the reason we're here today. We got a lot of cool news around VSP and Grail as well. So, AJ, what's going on? I know we got another black card auction coming up.
Yeah,
you and team are head down building a ton of stuff. I think that's sweet. So, what's kind of going on over there?
Yeah. So to your point, the big thing right now is something called the black card. Our original mint back in April had 15,555 passes, and right when we did the mint, shortly after, we launched a kind of roadmap of sorts that alluded to something called black card. And what the black card does is a deflationary event. So there's 70 black cards, and instead of us selling them directly to the holders via an ETH related sale, the way that you obtain a black card is by burning existing Vayner Sports passes. So we've got a fairly complicated, system where it's a drip auction. We're keeping 10 in the treasury. We're auctioning off the other 60, 6 different auctions, 10 at a time. So we did 1 through 10 last week. And to your point, Luke, 11 through 20, starts tomorrow. And then, that graphic you have up there, that's just a good way to kind of look at the entire ecosystem in general. That shows the black card as well as our hollow card, as well as the wild card, which is a card that has no icons on it. Then the other spectacular colors, green, and then the base, red, orange, blue, yellow, purple, etc. So different, factors and different elements of our project are outlined here. And people are excited about the black card. Our first auction ended up burning 923 passes.
Wow.
We're really excited about that.
Wow.
And so, I think, obviously the next auction will be less, and then it'll be, continuing down because we're going from, number 1 all the way down to 60. And then the last thing I'll say is black card number 1 is more powerful than black card number 2 and so on. So it does matter which one you get.
So the earlier you mint a black card, the more valuable it will be.
Correct. So black card 1's the most powerful of all the black cards. We did 1 through 10, and then 11 through 20 auction starts tomorrow.
Wow.
So we got 30 seconds left on the first base card. If I'm wrong, I know the green one's different, but can you kind of walk us through these 2 base cards? And so I know they get green and tennis activations, and they're all a little bit different.
Yeah, so they're all different. So if you look here, it looks like that's a basketball and a golf club on the first one, and then football and tennis racket on the second one. So these are base passes. So they don't have a special color or rarity. They're the most common pass within our project. And as you see within the lots, we kind of get more and more rare as we go. Mm-hmm. And what this basically means is that first pass that just went off the board and the second one going off in 5 minutes, it gets you access to the ecosystem. So things like exclusive AMAs with our athletes. We actually did one earlier today with Justin Turner, Dodgers third baseman. And, the other major factor here is that we did something called partner mints the first few months, where by owning any Vayner Sports Pass, you'd be able to mint an NFT from a partner of ours that we collaborated with. So we did partnerships with Micah Johnson and his Akutars project. We also did something with a project called Thingnums, as well as a project called 8-Bit. And so we'll have one more of those this year. And then the other thing is with a football and a tennis racket, you'd be able to enter. So, for example, we have a college football game. Actually, this one's perfect. On Friday, we have a tennis event in New York City, one of the big, important tennis events. We don't have the trademark to a lot of these events, so we don't use them in marketing or promotions. But so on Friday, we have a suite at a tennis match. And then on Saturday, we've got some great tickets to the premier college football game of the weekend as well. So that pass right there would have had you been eligible for both of those giveaway raffles that we held.
And you enter through Twitter or Discord?
No. So we actually have a custom raffle tech.
Okay.
So completely custom built. We tried other raffle techs, most notably Premint, which was great.
Yep.
And, when I was talking to Brendan Mulligan, the founder of Premint, just telling him about what I wanted to do, he was really cool. He just likes to listen. You should build it. And so, excuse me, sorry, I guess I'm in the throat. But we went and built it. And the cool part about it is that there's a weighted algorithm. So if you look in our passes, for example, we have the yellow one, then we have the green one, then bubblegum and hollow. All four of those passes, if they have a football on it, can enter. But hollow is more powerful than bubblegum, and bubblegum is more powerful than green, and green is more powerful than yellow. So the more rare your color is, the better your odds are for these raffles.
That's awesome. And so we just closed. So we had one that just closed at 0.2. And the next one's got a 0.2 bid.
Yep.
So I guess the floors also could depend technically on the sports, but it looks like those went above, like floors, around 1.7, 1.8 right now?
Yeah, so 0.17, 0.18. I would say these went right around the right price because the true floor in our project is a single icon. So this has both of those had two icons, so they're a little bit better. They get like a 10% premium on the single icon. And then, to your point, there definitely is a difference. So, for example, I think American football is the most expensive icon for like a single, for example. And I think like tennis and hockey are probably the lowest price ones. I'm not positive. I would have to check, but it does depend on the icon and the number of icons.
Here's kind of a snapshot of the floor.
Yep.
Of all time. Up, down, and now with the deflationary mechanic, it's going to get interesting.
Yeah, that's the idea. I think, from a deflationary perspective, by burning 900 something passes, last week, less competition in the raffles, and I think it just overall brings up the value, just classic supply and demand type, component.
And I know you've done some cool stuff with F1 and other sports not in the icons. How do you get entered in those?
Yeah, so what ended up happening is prior to us making some adjustments and some announcements, one of our 10 sports is volleyball, and volleyball was by far and away the lowest ranking icon. And transparently, as we worked through the volleyball opportunities, we just couldn't find events that we thought were exciting enough. And so what we did was we made a bit of a pivot, frankly, and we kind of made the volleyball a joker of sorts, where if we do something with F1, or if we do something with horse racing, for example, or surfing, we don't have those icons. And so we're having it so that volleyballs are eligible to enter those, along with a few other, I think we have it as so all spectacular cards can enter too. So like a gold or a bubble gum could also enter. But, that was a situation where the volleyball icon got a little bit of extra love. And then the other thing we did with volleyball was it was actually worth an extra point in the burn. So when you were burning any Vayner Sports Pass during these black card auctions, we gave volleyball an extra point bonus. So I think we'll have less volleyballs, after we're all said and done with these 6 auctions. And I think it helped derive some value for an icon that didn't get much love in April and May.
That's interesting. I think I have esports and volleyball as my two.
Yeah.
I know there's something cool going on with Green is Green and this one. Can we touch on that?
Yeah, we can. It's not going to be the most exciting answer because we haven't revealed it yet. But one thing that we've said from the beginning of the project. So if you look at the tiers, we've got our base colors like yellow, purple, blue, and red and orange. And then skipping, you get into these custom colors like bubblegum and hollow, which are actually a play off my brother's project V Friends. So if you look at V Friends, the rarest colors are also the rarest colors in our project. So hollow, lava, bubblegum, gold, and diamond. And then what we did was we took green, which is my brother and I's favorite color, my hat right here.
Jets.
diehard Jet fans. So we've always put an emphasis on green, just for fun because it's personally relevant to us. So green is a little bit more powerful in the raffle, for example, and thus green has a little bit of a higher price tag to it. And then we've said, and we haven't revealed yet, but the catchphrase in the Discord and within the community is green, and that's supposed to mean something, and we're going to make it mean something soon.
I had to try to get it out of you. I was going around the Discord today preparing it. Green is green was everywhere.
Green.
What
Everybody's
is this?
trust. I think the cool thing that's been really fun is, we've been running Vayner Sports Pass since April, and we had a really bumpy start. We had a gas war that caused a lot of pain and friction, and understandably so. And I kind of had to just take it on the chin and really just let the action speak louder than the words, because you can only say so much during something like that. But then since then, I feel as if we've done as good of a job as anybody in terms of constantly building, constantly doing what we say we would do, right? So like black card's a good example. We teased the black card for months, and we ended up actually doing it and doing it well. And then I think actually the most underrated aspect of any project that I'm proud of, I think we really nailed, is this concept of like, we're not going to bat 1,000. We're not going to be perfect, but if something goes wrong, if there's an issue, if there's a hiccup, if we make a mistake, if we make a misstep, we're always going to be transparent. We're always going to be communicative, and we're going to fix it and resolve it. And I think it started with the gas war. One of the examples was there was roughly $600,000 worth of failed transactions during the gas war, and we refunded it completely. One of the biggest refunds in NFT history.
Yep.
600 grand, because we thought that our launch and the way it was structured, was at fault for that in some way or shape or form. And so what's been really cool is we've had tiny little tech issues or this, that, or the other thing, but I feel like at least the community we have now, they don't freak out. They don't FUD. They just know that we're going to fix it and we're going to make right. And it's been cool. And so I think that's a good example where like green is green has been said for months. And I always did say like a month or two ago that, September-ish was the time frame, but nobody's kind of talking to me like, oh, green and green is bullshit, or it's never going to happen. Like everybody believes that we're going to do something. And I think we've earned that trust over the last 4 months, just based on the actions of other things that we've done.
I think it's really cool the amount of things you've tried, from the partner mints to Thingums, and you've done a lot of different things and done right by the one mistake. If I remember right, it was like a stealth mint kind of, but people front run you a little bit, and then it wasn't a good situation from the outside looking in, and I thought it was handled well.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, it was meant to be a stealth mint, which I think in hindsight was a big mistake. Nobody does stealth mints for a reason now. The funny thing I laugh about is, so my brother dropped his Series 2 like 3 weeks after Vayner Sports Pass. And then a good friend of ours, Kevin Rose, dropped Moonbirds like 8 or 9 days after we did. And I always joke with those guys that, I fell on the sword so they could run. Because, Kevin put out a video right after our gas war being like, hey, like my buddy AJ, his project, this happened. Like, we're changing and pivoting what we're doing with Moonbirds. And then my brother pivoted as well. And so, I like to think that I took the bullet for my brother and friend, and they did a much better job with their drops after our disaster.
14 seconds left on 221. Green is green. Maybe a news event in the future. Who knows what could happen?
Luke, can you pull up the pass number 30? Because it looks like we've gotten a lot of action since we started the stream. I think we started at like 1.1 or 1.05, and we've gotten like 8 or 7 or 8 bids recently.
It's a really good one. I mean, for good reason. I mean, that's the rarest, most sought after color trait in our ecosystem, and then it's 3 distinct icons. So if oh no, I'm sorry, I was looking at the bubblegum. It's the hockey icon.
Like if you're a hockey fan, this is it.
Yeah, exactly. If you're a hockey fan, this is it. Exactly. And then the bubblegum with 3 icons is dope too. It's not as rare as the hollow color, but it's that next tier right below it.
And so having two of the same icons instead of 3 unique or like 2 unique gets you double within that sport. So like if you're entering into raffles or whatever it is,
not exactly double, and our algorithm for the raffles is not public, but when you have 2 soccer balls or 2 hockey sticks on a pass, it is exponentially stronger than having a single.
Got it.
And I'll clarify too. Let's say you have a hollow with 2 hockeys on it. That's stronger than having 2 individual separate hollows, each with 1 hockey on it. Like there's a boost for having 2 icons on one.
Interesting.
There's a unique level of game theory based on what you want to get into.
100%. And I think that's actually the biggest purpose of this graphic. You know, we were rolling out the black card, and black card had been on a this ominous thing for so long. And what I really wanted to balance is, of course I wanted there to be hype of sorts, and I wanted there to be excitement, but I didn't want there to be an irrational hype that then led to an irrational spend that then led to buyer's remorse. So what I'm always balancing is, how do I give enough context for people so that they can make informed decisions based on their preferences within the game theory of our project. And so that's really what this graphic was, because I felt a concern that people were going to go wild over black card, or we're going to be bent out of shape about their hollow or their wild card. And I just wanted everybody to have context. And it was cool, actually. I had 1 or 2 of our larger collectors actually say, after I dropped that graphic and the video with it, that they were prepared to drop tens of thousands of dollars on black card ammo. And then after seeing that video and that graphic, pivoted, which I actually liked. Like, yes, that hurt the short-term hype of black card, but in my opinion, I think the best thing you can do for a project long-term is protect your holders and help them and enable them to make decisions that are in line with their interests that fit within your project.
So AJ,
like
I wanted to ask you, sorry, Luke, cut you off. Do we have it looks like we got a couple minutes in between bids.
2 minutes left on this one.
So like, obviously your day job is that you're a sports agent. You're very into like the Web3 space. There's been like, if you look at sports NFTs, there's been a mixed bag of all different types of projects and strategies around drops and whatnot. Like, what is your kind of take on that area of the space right now? And I guess, like, without sharing, anything that you shouldn't be sharing, like, what are you advising your clients right now on how they should be getting involved in Web3? And like, I'm sure there's a lot of them that would like to do drops. And I know that you guys have done stuff on Candy, but like, kind of, what are those conversations like? What are you guys cooking up? What have you been advising?
Yeah. So the first part of that question, I think the sports landscape with NFTs is even earlier stages than NFTs in general. When you look, and I've said this, and I've said it on record, if I created, adjective, noun, project, lazy this, funny that, hilarious that, llama, dolphin, alien, human, whatever, right? Like, we would have sold a lot more, and we would have done a lot more in secondary, and our floor price would probably be higher right now. But I also am of the belief that 99% of the projects that fit that mold are going to be gone in 3 years, whereas I know where we're going to be, which is firmly entrenched as a leader within the space. And so my mindset is Vayner Sports Pass was built for where NFTs are going, not where they are right now. So I think in general, if you look, like, you go to OpenSea and you sort by sports, not a ton of action. And so I just think in general that the hardcore NFT consumer right now, there's not a great overlap with like the hardcore sports fan. But it's my belief that projects that are really focused and really mindful and building the right way right now, that are focused on core pillars of society, like sports, like music, like entertainment, they're going to really win as we get more and more mass adoption. So that's my thinking on the market in general. And then to your point with my athletes, it's a great question. The biggest thing I really spent a lot of time doing was in the early stages of the bull run, like last year, even last spring, you had athletes like Mahomes and Gronk come out and make 7 figures from their drops. And I would have athletes come to me saying, hey, I want to do the same thing. And they would see, me and Gary be prominent voices in the space. So they thought 1 + 1 would equal 2. And I had to tell them, I'm like, listen, like, what those other athletes did, I think they caught lightning in a bottle. It was a moment in time. And I just think consumer expectations are going to be higher every time going forward. And I just wasn't very optimistic. And again, nothing against Mahomes and Gronk. And I have no idea what's happened since. my belief is probably nothing. But, you know, I think it's just an interesting space right now. I think, you know, you mentioned Candy and you got things like So Rare and Dapper. Like, I think there's the established projects that have a ton of venture capital that'll secure the rights to the MLB, the NBA, the NFL, that'll do well. They're going to have to figure it out. You know, I think there's ups and downs with this market. I think a huge thing you always have to think about is like supply and demand, and avoid the same thing that sports cards have made the mistake of doing, right? Like, you know, the junk wax era, and how many Zion rookies are there versus how many Anthony Davis rookies there are, you know, things like that. And so I think that's what those projects are going to have to navigate. And then in between, I think it'll just come with time. I'm fascinated to see, you know, how much of the action is going to be on Ethereum. You know, I think it has been, it's like a joke, but Solana summer, I think it's been a good summer for Solana. Gary and I are always open to other blockchains too. Like my brother did Immutable X for his book games NFT. So I think that'll be an interesting dynamic. And then obviously, you know, Dapper's on Flow and doing a great job with that. So
with them, I've actually been interested to see. So they just put out NFL All Day, right? Yep. I haven't looked all that much into it, but it seems like they've learned from some of the early mistakes they made with Top Shot in regards to the supply.
Yeah.
It looks like they're taking a more calculated approach at that.
That's what I've seen too. It's been definitely a slower burn, which I think is healthy.
Yeah. And so
I don't blame them, and not for me to comment. I don't know what goes on in those four walls, but like they got so hot that I just think it's just hard to make. I don't know. They were just so fucking hot at one point. Like everybody was into like
2 hour, 3 hour lines just to wait.
Yeah. And the litmus for me was like, you know, I have like these very concrete separated groups of people. One group is in deep and in the know, and the other is just normal human beings. And like when I'm getting like my brother-in-law and my friends from home, they're like, hey, like what line are you? Like what queue number are you? I was like, holy shit. This is real deal. Like if those people are interested and excited. And yeah, I think they got caught with the saturation, the supply, and also just the hype, the same bubble that ended up popping for the entire industry a couple months ago in like May. Well, I think that Top Shot had its own mini bubble pop.
For sure.
It wasn't making sense. It just wasn't making sense. Like if you got a pack, you made money, and that's just not how packs work. Yeah.
Similar to what you said earlier, like I think they took one on the chin for a lot of people in the space as well. Like they, and also you look at a good portion of the NFT space, not a ton, but there's a lot of people out there that got onboarded into NFTs through NBA Top Shot.
By the way, me.
Yeah, so
I got onboarded.
Yep. 1 minute left on the
Oh, nice.
Hollow.
Nice.
How are we doing on it?
We pull that one out. So
my first ever NFT. Yeah, 1.65.
Solid.
Yeah, Top Shot has been, and NFL All Day has been the only NFT related thing my IRL friends have asked me about. So that's like, okay, this is getting too big.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was my first NFT. It was my very first one. It helped me kind of like, you know, because I was so into sports cards, it was very easy for me to digest. And then from there, I jumped into like, after that, learned about OpenSea, learned about punks. I think it went Top Shot for like a month, like a few weeks. I was buying Top Shot. This was in December of 2020, January of 21. And then my next NFT bought, I think, was a hash mask, one of the OG Ethereum projects. And then fortunately after that, it was like CryptoPunks, Art Blocks, and a few other things.
It's awesome. Oh, 1.7.
Nice bid with 20 seconds to go.
We're moving.
13 seconds.
There was an outlier. I think there was an outlier today because I was looking at the activity a couple days ago. It looks like one sold for like half an ETH.
Everybody's speculating that it was stolen or hacked. That one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
That's usually when you see something sell way below, that's usually the culprit, unfortunately.
And so we got 175 now.
Nice. Oh, nice. I got the extent. What do you guys have the extension set at? 30 seconds for a bid, or?
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually custom. So like we've played around with a minute, played around with 2 minutes, but we normally have it on 30 seconds.
Got it.
It's enough time. So our bidding is all off chain.
Right, and then you throw it on chain.
Final bid is done on chain, and so you don't need to pull up your MetaMask each time,
Yep.
which is nice.
That is nice. I like that. Looks like it's about to close.
Snipe at the last second. Nope. 175.
Awesome.
Nice.
Love it. It's solid.
That is, these passes that we auctioned off with you guys tonight are the first passes from the treasury that we sold.
Really?
The primary purpose is not to sell them. This was, Scott, we're friends. I'm an angel in Star Stock, so like it made sense and it was good. Like I liked honestly the exposure to this sports related audience, so that's why it made sense. But typically, the vast majority of anything that's left the treasury, we gift one to every athlete. So we've gifted 100 plus of them to any athlete. Not every athlete has been onboarded yet, but any athlete that was interested and wanted to be onboarded onto Ethereum, we gifted one. And then, we do some stuff like raffles and prizes and things like that. But for the primary purpose, the vast majority of these won't be sold otherwise. So I think that was kind of cool for our community to kind of like, we've got a few passes, including a blank hollow, which is like the strongest card that existed in that initial mint. And one of the strongest cards, period, probably right up there with Black Card 1 through 5 or so. There's actually one in the treasury. So people are always like, what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with that? So
Save it for a rainy day.
Exactly.
So for those that are watching that want to go check out the auction for the Black Card or want to go or interested in potentially burning one of their passes, where do they go?
So Black
Vaynerchuk
Card
site.
Yep. So our website has it. Can I drop it in the comments? No, can't. It's just blackcard.vaynersportspass.com/black-card.
Russ, drop the link in there for everybody.
I'll drop it in the
Everything's in the Discord too.
Yeah, so that's where you can check the Black Card out. Second auction drops tomorrow at 3:00 Eastern, 3 p.m. Eastern. But you can also see the results. I'll drop the link here. That is the results from the first auction, which is pretty cool. You can see 3 different people bid over 1,000 points. And points are basically mapped against your VSPs. So I think off the top of my head, I think a single icon base colored card is worth 5 points, then a 2 icons worth 6, 3 icons worth 7, and then different rarities. So yeah, that's the pass. Quick little graphic showing that it's a burn event. And then if you click the visit drip auction, drop down and go to number 1, that's where I guess you'll have to sign in. We're actually changing that. Tomorrow we're pushing a change where you don't have to sign in to be able to view the leaderboard, because we want this exact scenario we don't want to happen anymore after this week. So, but yeah, we have the leaderboard up, and we're excited for number 2 to start tomorrow.
I know we have a giveaway to run. If Russell, you want to bring up the spinner.
Let's do it. So we're doing a giveaway for every bidder.
I think, was it bidder or was it viewer/listener? I forget.
I think it was every bidder. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like 10 to 12 names there.
And the winner just contacts Grail through Twitter.
Yeah,
right,
you
Scott?
can contact us through Twitter, or we will just airdrop it directly into your wallet. So you don't even need to contact us, really.
Awesome. Spin the wheel, and we'll see who wins.
Here we go.
Oh,
That was close.
5, 7, 3, 8.
Congratulations. Well, I guess before we wrap, any final thoughts from either of you on kind of the state of the pass and Grail? What's coming next?
No, really, I want to say thanks again to AJ for joining us. This was a blast. Fun to hear about. Like, we'll have to bring you on again in the future. You guys have so much going on, so it's good to get the update.
We keep busy for sure.
Clearly, good demand for the product. This was like a blast to run. We have a few more auctions coming up. We're doing a remint auction with Chibi Labs close tomorrow. And then we have a few more auctions that are up on our site as well. So go check them out. And if you're watching and you have any projects or artists or partners you want us to work with, shoot us a DM and let us know. Or if you want us to run it back with VSP, shoot us a DM so I can screenshot it and send it to AJ to get him to come back. But thanks for coming on, and Luke, thanks as always for hosting.
Of course. Thanks everyone for watching. Enjoy your evenings.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks everybody. Take care.
Take care, everyone. See ya.
See ya. Bye.